And I'm delighted to say our next guest is ready to talk to us. Jonathan Courtenay is the Managing Director of JACC Sports, and today's a big day for you guys, a big day for the FAI, because we have new jerseys, Johnny.
We do. Big day for everybody concerned. We're very excited to launch the new kits.
So it's not just one new kit. I'm right in saying there's actually a bespoke kit for the men's and women's team, and that's the first time that's happened. Is that right?
That's right. We've actually it's a change in sponsorship. So the brand has changed from New Balance, and we're going back to Umbro with the FAI. So what we've done is in the light of the 20x20 Sport Ireland and government initiative, we've been behind that since day one actually, and we've been developing much more women's products than we've ever done before. So we took the view this time that we think that the ladies team certainly deserve to have their own identity within the umbrella of the FAI. So we've designed men's home and away kits, obviously, and also women's home and away kits, and they're all quite significantly different. Okay, we're going to be posting those pictures as soon as we're allowed to do so in the next couple of minutes here. We're just waiting for the official account to tweet them out first, and then we'll be sharing them too. But what's the actual process like of designing shirts, particularly with a brand like Umbro, where you've got a lot of history to lean on, and you don't want to stomp on that history, but equally you don't want to be trapped by it? Yeah, somebody asked me on Twitter a while ago what it's like designing football jerseys, or what the kind of ethos or whatever is in it. I basically, the way I look at it is, what you're ideally trying to create a mix between either the club or the association, whoever you're designing for, obviously. You're trying to get a good mix and balance of the history of that association with the DNA of that association. So the DNA really, a lot will be your colours and stuff like that, your traditional colours. And you want to get together then with a modern aesthetic, but also sometimes you want to give a nod to the past, or commemorate certain occasions and stuff. So through the lens of the FAI being 100 years old next year, we looked at a lot of the new product through that lens. So there's kind of some historical references to certain points in time, particularly with the men's away, which we've kind of celebrated. We took a very deliberate decision to try and celebrate the 30th anniversary of our first World Cup. So the new white away jersey would give a serious nod to 30 years ago at Italia 90.
We can put them up actually now, so we can have a look at these if you want to stick those up first there. So this is Ireland, the New Dawn. This is the men's and the women's. And obviously there is a fairly significant difference between the men's and women's.
Yeah, so on the men's, so it's 100% polyester marl material, which has a line through it. It's quite a discreet line. There's a lot of fabric interest when you hold it up close. The collar is a V-neck collar. It's a flat knit rib, and it's obviously white with a gold in there. And we've used gold on the home kit as the kind of third color, which again kind of feeds into that centenary idea, gold with a celebration kind of year, that kind of thing. So that's where we came up with that. And then the women's home jersey is a totally different material. It's a matte shine with a floral jacquard print. And we actually looked back at, believe it or not, the old punts. The pound note had a really cool kind of Celtic print through it. So we've kind of replicated some of the design from what was the old currency into the women's fabric. And then the women's neck has a rib as well, but it's cut off as a straight neck at the bottom at the opening. So two very distinctive, different looks. And when we did the photo shoot with the players a couple of weeks ago, they all really took to them, and they were very keen on the ideas and on having the different ones. So yeah, so far so good. Good reaction so far.
I'm interested, you said that you've been doing more women's gear since 20x20 started. Has there actually been a concurrent uptick in business? Like more women are buying more sports gear?
I think across the board, women have always bought sports gear. I think the difference in this is we're trying to get women to buy into replica sports gear. And that's something that has been traditionally maybe a harder sell. I think when Ireland get to a World Cup or a Euros, or if the rugby team goes to the World Cup or whatever, I think you do certainly see the women getting on board with the tournament and buying jerseys and stuff at that point. But realistically, it hasn't been a huge part of business, and I don't think it is for a lot of soccer clubs, whether that's teams in England, Spain, or whatever. So what we're trying to do now it's not just jerseys as well. So everything across the training package and the travel package will be all done in a women's cut and a women's spec. So All of this product will be available now for all of the ladies and the girls who are starting to support the team when in the home games in Tala, and obviously the attendances are going up there rapidly and quickly, which is brilliant. But it'll be interesting to see whether the actual support turns into purchases, because obviously if that goes well and it goes in the right direction, then we can start offering out wider and wider ranges too. So we're excited to see where it goes, but we certainly will have all the ladies' product there for the first time across the whole range.
We've got the away jersey on screen now. It's very white and it's very plain and it's gorgeous. Tell us about this.
Yeah, it's clean. It's very clean. As I said, really, what we wanted to do, and again, I'll talk to kind of both here. Really, with the men's one, what we wanted to do was put an Italian 90 spin on it. That's obviously our first World Cup, 2 years after our first Euros, but I think the World Cup just has this kind of aura to it. So to celebrate the 30th anniversary of our first one, we were going to go very clean. So we went with the white jersey. We went with a matte shine jacquarded jersey. So when you twist and turn it in certain lights, you'll pick up kind of the pattern within the jersey. So it looks quite flat and plain when you see it from a distance, but when it twists and turns in the light, it picks up parts of the pattern, which is really nice. The neckline is definitely, unashamedly, very Italian 90, that white rib with the orange that runs through it. So that should remind everybody now of Italian 90, and there's great history with that. And then in terms of the women's one, we've actually used a Celtic printed graphic in it. Now, again, it's very hard to see in the images up close, but it's a Celtic spiral that runs through the graphic of the fabric, and people will see it up close when they see it in store.
You mentioned it's very clean. The one thing that kind of sticks out to anybody looking at it is that there's no opal, there's no tree, there's none of the sponsors that we've had traditionally. You haven't really been able to buy those jerseys before, have you?
No, not since about 1990. There's been the FAI shirt has always carried a sponsor, and that has let's say annoyed a certain element of the fans, and I understand that. I've tried to work with Three and Eircom in the past to ask them to allow us to do a percentage of the jerseys that go out without the sponsor, but they wouldn't give up that space. And I can kind of understand why they wouldn't. They're paying big money to the FAI to get their advertising space on the front of the shirt. So I can understand their logic in it, but for the first time since, I think it was when Opel were on board around 1990, you could buy it with or without the sponsor. But for the moment, the FAI haven't signed up a new main sponsor. So for the first time, certainly under our contractual period, everybody will be able to buy the jersey now without the sponsor. How long that stays there for or doesn't stay there for, as the case may be, we don't know, because as soon as the sponsor comes on board, they'll probably want that space back. But certainly for the launch on the 5th of November, anybody who's buying the home away, men's or women's kits, they will be sponsor free for whatever period of time that is.
Yeah, and obviously we know there's a new chief executive coming in who has very plugged in commercial contacts and a background in history. So I've no doubt that they'll be getting a sponsor pretty quickly.
You would think so. I mean, regardless of what the FAI have gone through, it's been a tumultuous time, obviously, over the last 18 months or so. But I think there's still a massive organisation in terms of participation in sport in Ireland. And I think there will be companies who will absolutely want to make that link to the football supporting public. With their brand, and I think it's, as you say, it's only a matter of time before somebody comes in, and with all the changes that have gone on in the association, it is like turning a page. So I think that somebody will be in there fairly quickly.
But in the meantime, the fans get what they want, which is the sponsorless jersey. So it's kind of it's a bizarre short window of a win for the Ireland fans.
Yeah, I think so. I do certainly encourage. We would always see on social media when we bring out kits, I would buy this if it didn't have the sponsor. I suppose we'll see if there's an uplift in sales now, and the proof will be in the pudding, as they say. But we're certainly interested in seeing how it goes. I mean, we would love to get into bed with another sponsor who comes in and say to them, look, can we have an X percentage of jerseys without, each time we launch one, can we do maybe 20% of the jerseys without a sponsor? Because I think there is people out there who won't buy it with the sponsor on. And I understand that, because it's not like club football where the players also wear the sponsor on the front. International football, they don't. So it's slightly differently. differently done, and obviously it goes back to kind of around 1986, 87, when the FAI were quite a small organisation. We'd never qualified for anything. Football was not a minority sport, but it was a smaller sport than it is today. And Opel came along, offered them money for it, and they needed the money at the time, and that's where the precedent was set. And obviously subsequent sponsors who came in wanted to keep that space. And again, the bigger check you write, the more rights you get these days. So I understand why it's there. Personally, I prefer it wasn't there as well, because I'm a fan at the end of the day. But for now, it's not there. So fill your boots, guys. And
obviously a nice low-key friendly against England to launch the new jerseys in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's kind of a bonus. I know there's a bit of debate about the rankings element to it, but I mean, generally speaking, we've never really performed or underperformed when it comes to playing England. So I'm certainly looking forward to it, and the home jersey will make its debut in Wembley Stadium. So where better a place to launch a kit?
Yeah, it's absolutely great. And do we wear the white one against them in Wembley, or what? I don't remember.
So England obviously wear white, navy white, and so we'll wear green, white, green in England. And then I think the plan is a couple of days later, when we play the Nations League game against Wales in Cardiff, I think that's where we'll wear the away for the first time. So it's kind of ideal from a launching scenario. You get the home jersey launched and on the team again in a hugely big game against England, and then obviously a few days later against Wales, who'll be in red, white, red, I presume. And we'll be wearing the white, green, white against them, so the away kit against Wales in Cardiff.
All right, looking forward to it. Johnny, great stuff. Thanks a million.
Cool, thanks. Cheers.
That's Johnny Courtenay there, the MD of JACC Sports today, helping us launch the new Ireland jersey here. We've got those pictures up on social media if you want to examine them a little bit more